Well, it's the final week of LCS regular season here in spring with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined by Fudge right now at I should say the very end because I think there's a tiebreaker, but Cloud9 ended the chance of a very long tiebreaker scenario just now by beating Immortals. I'm joined right now by Fudge. So, Fudge, first off, has the ship righted? I mean, on Cloud9, there were definitely some spooky moments, I think, for C9 fans recently.
Yeah, I think that's the TLTSM games specifically, also CLG game, I guess. There were a lot of like individual mistakes from me as well as like my teammates, and we also had like pretty bad ideas of how to play at comps in some of the games. I think there were also some really unfortunate moments, like uh, well, not unfortunate, but I'd say we just like misplayed the really, really important moments. Like for example, me dying to Na in the TL game, like versus Alphari, and then just dying and just losing the game straight after, pretty much because we lost Baron and Elder, stuff like that. That's like, um, it's like if we won that scenario, then we would have just won the game, and because we lost the scenario, it's like a click of the finger. You just lose the game, and
Yeah.
it kind of sucks, but. Luckily, we got first seed, so all that tiebreaker stuff is out of the way.
Yeah, how important was first seed for you guys? Because I don't know how much you personally cared.
Obviously we're gonna have to verse I think we're gonna end up versing TL anyway, because I still think they're the best team. Um, and versing 100 Thieves in the playoffs first is going to be, I think, a lot easier than if we would have versed TL or TSM. So getting first seed was pretty good for us. Also, having to play like an extra 2 games against TSM and TL going late into the night would have been really, really exhausting. So I'm glad we just won. And yeah,
Oh, you're almost more excited about having to avoid the tiebreakers
yeah, I would
than
say
about
so.
getting
Yeah,
first seed. Yeah,
yeah, the tiebreakers would have been pretty annoying.
yeah. I wonder. I think at some point in time they've said that like after a certain number of tiebreakers are supposed to happen in one night, they move it to the next day. So I don't. Maybe they would have even done that. Who knows? But um, okay. So your expectation is that you guys are going to end up playing TL. Is that I
Mhm.
assume you think that's going to be the finals?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the finals. I think well, it's going to be TLTSM, right, as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible TSM beat them. I do think that like TSM have pretty on and off games where like some games they actually play pretty cleanly. Some games they just like really int. So it's hard to tell. Uh, but I do think that TL for us specifically are definitely the best team when we verse them. They're like the cleanest team and they're the hardest to like punish, I guess, when they make mistakes
So is
or
that
if they make mistakes.
Does that mean you'll be rooting for TSM in the match between TL and TSM?
I would say so, yeah. I think we'd much rather verse TSM, like our team, than versing TL, based on like scrims and all that stuff as well.
Gotcha. Do you have any hopes or expectations for like EG or Dig or 100T?
Well, 100 Thieves we're going to be versing, right? And
Yeah.
I think 100 Thieves are pretty weak despite their like standings. I think that they're actually like not much better than like EG, for example. I think they're all pretty similar to each other. And I'm not saying that we're just going to smash 100 Thieves, but I do think that versing them, it's not really going to be like too hard. And I don't expect them to like make it to finals at all, or EG or Dig, especially like EG and Dig. I think EG, Dig, and 100. Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna make finals ever in
Gotcha.
any of us.
There's just no chance. Yeah.
There's no chance in my mind.
Yes. Well, Fudge, I'm also kind of curious. Just obviously, you've been one of the hottest topics on C9. It's been you and Perks over the course of this year. Uh, what do you think of your own personal performance and progression? Because obviously, I think the last time I talked to you, you were like, "Yeah, okay, I know, I suck. Everybody else sucks too, but I suck." So what do you think of your situation now? Do you still suck? And how much
Well,
better have you gotten? I don't know.
yeah. So like, it's always gonna be a thing where like 3 months in the future, I'm gonna say that I sucked now, and it's like I'm always gonna keep saying that I used to be bad. So I'm sure that I'm still like really bad, but I think relative to the other top laners, I think that's the only top laner that's like actually better than me right now is Alphari. I think the rest of them are like all really like they really just don't punish you when you make mistakes in lane, and I think versing them is really really like simple to play. It's not like you're thinking that they're actually going to like punish you for playing a bad matchup. Like for example, today I played Sion versus Renekton, and I think that the matchup is likely that I go down like 20 CS or so, which I still think is fine, but obviously that didn't happen because I'm versing like a weak player. And I think that the other top laners are sort of similar. I wouldn't say they're similar to Revenge, but I would just say like they're similar in the fact that they don't really punish you for playing like, or in good scenarios.
So I know you've now said this, but then you
Hmm.
will perhaps go off and have like a bad game and lose to a top lane or something like that, right? So like,
Yep.
how do you justify those moments? Because a lot of people I think would disagree, whether or
Hmm.
not correct or wrong,
Hmm.
that you are only behind Alphari.
Yeah.
So how do you justify those other games that then like maybe you have tough matches
Um,
against?
well, I think that the other games, well, I would still say that the top laners play the same in all the games. It's just like I think my knowledge of matchups varies from different matchups, right? And certain matchups that I play, uh, I tend to, well, obviously, I have much bigger knowledge on the champions that I play. And some of the games, for example, I haven't played as much. Champions like GP recently, I haven't played like at all. Um, and when I play those sort of matchups, I think that my performance definitely shows much worse. But even then, I would still say that like I still have like the same like motto. Is it a motto that I'm still shit, right? But I
Okay.
think all the other top laners are really bad too.
But then okay, so if your knowledge of certain champions and certain
Hmm.
matchups are limited,
Hmm.
and maybe some other players have more knowledge and
Hmm.
more experiences,
Yep.
are those players not better, or is it just like because I think that's what some
Yeah,
people would
it's
say.
possible, right? Yeah, yeah. People would make this argument, right? So like it just comes down to how flexible they are with different champions, and I think when it comes to players other than Alphari, for example, like Impact someday, um, what are the other top laners? I don't even remember, man. Jesus.
Impact someday Hooney.
And Alphari and Huni, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think other than Alphari, out of those four, the top laners are all pretty like not that they're not versatile. I'd say like all of them like play a lot of Renekton, they play a lot of Gnar, these sort of matchups where I am not as good at, and um, I think that when they're off those sort of champions and those sort of champions get banned, they're much worse players. Whereas if like I'm off like Camille, I can still play other champions, and I don't think it's really the same for
Okay. So
them.
you are giving yourself more points in part because of versatility. Like
Yes, I
you
would say yes.
presumably a
Especially
more
in a best
versatile
of
player.
five.
Yeah.
Especially in a best of five, I think that they're less versatile as players.
Okay. Well, that's exciting then, because guess what? We're about to go into best of fives. Um, do you think that this will really sort of show what the depth of your champion pool when you're able to get into these longer series?
Yes, I think that once people start prioritizing, for example, 100 Thieves, they like first pick Renekton, right? When they don't get first pick Renekton, they look much worse as a team, for example. Like these sort of like teams are very like top laners are very easy to draft against, and also teams. It's not just him that's like not that good, right? At like other champions or other styles. Um, but yeah, like these sort of like weaknesses really show in best of five rather than a best of one. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of examples during playoffs, and maybe there'll be examples of me in playoffs having a bad champion pool. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. It's a big surprise. We'll see. I mean, Vulcan or no, Sven kind of hinted at it yesterday, I think, in an interview with me, where he said he feels like you guys have a lot more to show in playoffs and maybe some strategies that you haven't revealed yet. So I'm excited to see you pull out Teemo top and just
Uh-huh.
start schooling some people.
Yeah, I might have to play like Vayne or something, you know.
Very good. Well, it's good enough place to leave us ahead of playoffs. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, so recently I think I've been playing better, but also the fans are very supportive still. Like they're also supportive even when I wasn't playing as good. So I want to thank all the like the C9 fans, or maybe not C9 fans, just my fans, I guess, that have just been like messaging me and like always like saying like, bad luck whenever I play bad, or good, like really good job whenever I play well. And I think it like sort of just keeps me like more motivated, I guess, to like keep playing, even when I'm like sort of like I don't know, sad because I misplayed something, sort of that sort of thing. So yeah, I want to thank all like this people messaging me. It's pretty nice.
Very good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how you play in playoffs and some of this champion versatility is able to pop out. Fudge, thank you so much for the interview today. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. Listen, if you're watching this, there is I think like a 10% chance. I think that's like my Canadian audience. Like 1 in 10 of you that are watching this right now are Canadian. And up until now, you were not able to get 10% off your order of an Alienware computer. And I have spent every single night since I inked the very first Alienware deal staring at my ceiling, where in my memory, like just, it doesn't actually exist in real life, but like my brain transposes a Canadian flag onto my ceiling as I'm staring at it 3:30 in the morning, wide awake. And in order to get this resolved and my ability to sleep, I got it. So you guys have a code now. So Travis 10 off. You can use it to save 10% off your order, just like us Americans down here to your south. I did this for you. Appreciate me.